Welcome back to Tomb Tower again, and this time we're going to go to level 4, Coffin Canyon. Not as difficult as Dead Heat, but it has a lot of interesting stuff for us regardless. If you didn't know the numbered order of the levels, this would probably be the one you entered first because it's the closest to the starting point. Not all of the hub worlds have levels that are this visible. Sometimes you need to explore a tiny bit to find them, but it's usually not to an insane degree, or even as much as in the normal levels. Two enemies here spawn really close to each other, so we need to make sure we take out the second one before we do the ground slam, or else that one will sneak up on us and punch us after we're done. I knew where that guy was going to spawn. From here on out, I'm going to be ignoring any chests that are mimics entirely, because I don't need to take any hits to my shield. If we're not careful, we can break the tombstone while we're fighting that guy, and some spirits will escape into the wall. We're going to ignore those tombstones up there for now, for a very good reason. Good idea to take that guy out from above. Enemies on different planes than us are supposed to be trickier to deal with, but we have just as much time to react as long as we don't freak out. Down here is a secret area with a treasure chest that has a whole ton of money in it, but it has a spear guy guarding it who will absolutely peel off our armor, and some surprise enemies. 3 ghosts from different angles. It is very possible to evade them all, although it is unlikely, but we didn't want to waste 3 separate shield throws. At least we got a lot of money for doing it. Now we're going to head back up to where we left those tombstones earlier so we can get them now, because we didn't want to risk losing all these spirits we would get. It was kind of unlikely that we would get hit by 2 ghosts, but you never know. It doesn't hurt to be careful. Of course, you may not know that you can jump back up here, but now you do because I just showed you. The reason I stopped for a moment was because there was a health potion back there. We didn't need it, but I never even noticed it before. Sometimes you notice new things and nooks and crannies in this game, even if you've played it dozens of times. This time the skull shooting totems are double. We just want to stick to one side of the wall, in this case the right side, and make our way through as quickly as possible. That trap would really only be difficult if you ran straight through the center. That's what the crows do, they try to steal your money from you. You didn't see that before. It is thankfully easy to kill them. On this zombified pathway there are some coins, but even more important, there's an enemy. And this enemy drops an important item. Well, not that important. Well, we want all the keys we can get, so even if the zombified pathway isn't worth it for the coins alone, we definitely wanted that key. The enemies in this level so far have been kind of isolated, so we're not having any trouble dealing with them. Up here is a chest that's a mimic, so we're going to ignore it entirely, and we're going to jump on this tiny platform to give us a good vantage point of the totem, so we can see exactly where we need to jump to be safe. I think it's nice that they put that tiny platform there for that purpose. Up here we come to the canyon part of Coffin Canyon, and another ghost friend. This time we are going to use our shield. Not enough room to dodge, and it seems pretty straightforward at first. Lots of room to move around, just don't be stupid. But no, the pathway crumbles. And again, there's an extra life hanging over a very tiny platform. This one is no more hard than the last one, even if it does look scarier. Remember that you can use your double jump at any time after your first jump. So something cool about having an elemental sword is that we can shoot a bolt of magic by pressing triangle twice. This does, of course, decrease the sword's uses, but it means we can take care of tricky enemies like spear guys very fast. Having a projectile attack is one of the biggest advantages in this game, and the magic bolt we shoot out of our sword is way more useful than our shield is. This gateway has 4 zombies in it, one of which is a crawling zombie, which we need to use our ground slam or heavy attacks to defeat. This guy. And if we just avoid getting caught between the tombstones, then the rest of them should be very easy. The only thing we can purchase in here is another mystery. I don't know what this one is, but it's probably boxers again. It's usually boxers. These elemental sword power-ups I keep getting dropped by chance, so we're just getting really lucky. Really lucky. Because that might have actually been kind of tough to deal with. Now there's a ton of gold and even a diamond down there, as you can see. But you might have guessed that if we try to get them, the pathway crumbles. Fortunately, the power-up we just got for our shield, the Midas Shield, allows us to collect coins from a distance. Unlike most of the abilities, that one spawns there every time, so you'd have to actively ignore it. In case you're wondering why I said we only have 3 ability slots, even though we've collected more than 3 abilities, clearly, only 3 of those abilities stay after we die. The rest of them go away. So even though we can collect more than 3 abilities, we only get to keep 3 of them. Now theoretically, if you never die throughout the entire game, then you get to keep all of your abilities. But that's very unlikely, so you have to choose which 3 you want to keep and organize your slots so that way you get to keep those. None of the enemy encounters in this level, as I've stated previously, are all that challenging. The enemies come in small numbers and are kind of isolated. At least so far. Man, we're just getting all the fire power-ups today. There is a part near the end of the level where the enemies will be not so far apart, but we'll deal with that when we get there. In spite of me for some reason collecting them manually right here, it is possible to collect spirits using our Midas Shield ability. I'm just not doing it. We can't collect health potions with the ability, though. Or extra lives. We need to go get those ourselves. In this area, there are multiple ways we can go. Straightforward is the most obvious option, but let's see what's to the right first. Checking these extra areas can always be risky because there might be more enemies than you can deal with, or sometimes even pits that you can't deal with. But there may also be hey, another fire power. There may also be power-ups or extra lives that are very much worth the risk. Let's see what's in this chest. Another extra life. I think we'll have 11 or 12 by the end of this world, but we're gonna need those. Unless I just get that good. We can't open this building from the front, so of course we come around from behind and just smash the window open. And for some reason that switch makes the earth move, but hey, whatever, Achille, it's your post-apocalypse, not mine. So far we've seen platforming and enemies. The two haven't been combined that much yet, but that's going to change up here. That was easily avoidable. This narrow platform down here has a coffin that spawns right on the edge. So we need to firmly plant ourselves there, else we're gonna fall back when the enemy spawns. And, you know, into the pit. That was a huge onslaught of enemies. That would have been really hard to deal with without that elemental power-up. Good thing we got so lucky.